Hello everyone and welcome to Dopa Apparel by TSK. Today I'll be taking you on a tutorial on how to pattern draft a pencil skirt with a band. If this sounds interesting to you, why not sit back and let's do it together. Okay, to all our returning subscribers, thank you so much. We appreciate you. And if you are here to subscribe to our channel, please subscribe, like, share and comment. Thank you. Today I'll be showing us how to pattern draft a pencil skirt, and basically what we need is just 4 of our measurements. We need the skirt length, the hip rise, the hip and the waist. So for the skirt length we are going to be doing is 22 inches, and for the hip is 40, and for the waist we have 32, and the hip rise is 8 inches. The hip rise is from the waist to the hip. Measurement from the waist to the hip is called the hip rise. Some people call it hip length, whichever one you choose to call. So let's dive into it now. So we start by taking, this is my starting point. Okay, like I said, the skirt we are making is 22 inches length. So don't forget, we have the pencil skirt that has band and the one that doesn't have band. That's the bandless. Okay, so but the one we are going to be making today is the one that has a band. Now if your total length is 22 including the band, so we are going to be doing a -2. The -2 we are doing is 2 inches for the band. We want to make a skirt that has 2 inches band, so we are going to do a -2. I hope you can see me. So after you minus the 2 inches, okay, then you measure down to get your 22, okay, -2. You take your tape rule up by 2 and you try to get your points. 22, okay, 22, okay. Let's rule it out. Let's connect the lines. About 22 inches. Okay, now we are going to be adding 2 inches allowance. 2 inches allowance for the hemming allowance. We're going to be adding 2 inches for hemming. Okay, 2 inches, 2 inches. Okay, so this is going to be the sewing allowance. You can use 1 inch, you can use 1.5, depending on what you like to use. Okay, so we are going to be connecting the lines now. Okay, so when we are done with getting the length of our skirt and the 2 inches allowance, the next thing we are going to do is let's measure from the waist. You know, we did a -2 because of the band, so to get our hip rise, and like I said, my hip rise is 8 inches. Okay, so -2, you get your 8 inches. Don't forget, we are making a pencil skirt that has a band. Measure your 8 inches, -2, you measure your 8 inches. So we are going to be connecting these lines now. Connecting the lines. Okay, so now this is our waistline, this is our hip line, this is the length of our skirt, and this is the 2 inches allowance. So now we are going to be taking our measurements. So on this place, on the hip line, sorry, on the waistline, you take your waist measurements Like I said, my waist is 32 divided by 4 is going to give you 8. So we are going to be marking 8. Okay, and I like putting 2 inches allowance. You can put 1 inch sewing allowance, you can put 1.5 depending on what you want. So now this is my 2 inches allowance. Then don't forget we are going to be adding a dart. So, and the dart is going to be 1 inch, so I'm going to be including 1 more inch here. So my seam allowance is 2 inches and my dart allowance is 1 inch. Okay, so now on the hip line we are going to be taking the hip measurement. So it's going to be the hip measurement divided by 4. My hip is 40 divided by 4. It's going to give us 10. Okay, I hope you can see it. It's going to give us 10 inches. So you mark your 10 inches here. Okay, like I said, I use 2 inches allowance. You can add it here depending on what you want. It can be 2 inches. Okay, then on the base of our skirt, we also bring down this same measurement, the hip measurement. So we are going to be measuring 10 inches. Okay, so that is what we are bringing down, the same hip measurement. You bring it down to the base of your skirt. Let me also take it down here to the allowance. 10 inches, that is my hip measurement divided by 4. That is what I brought down here. So don't forget that we added 2 inches allowance to the hip, but on this occasion we did not add anything. We just measured the hip allowance, which is 10 inches, because it's actually a pencil skirt. We want it to pence. Okay, so we have 10 here. Now we are going to be connecting the lines together. So this is what we have at the end of the day. Okay, these are waistline and hip line, and this is our skirt length and the 2 inches allowance that we added at the base. So at this point, let us label them. This is our hip line. Okay, this is our skirt length and this is our allowance. Okay, now if you watch the skirt, if you don't want it to be too pence, okay, you can see the shape. If you don't want it to be too pence, you can go out here by 1 inch. Okay, you can go out by 1 inch and connect it back to the waist. You can come out here by 1 inch and connect it back to the waist. Let's connect it so that you see how it looks. So this is how it looks. Okay, we came out by 1 inch because we don't want it to be too pensed, but if you want it to be well pensed, you can use this line here. Okay, so now we go over to the waistline, okay, where we are going to have our dart. Now you need to have your nipple to nipple measurement. I forgot to mention it at the beginning of the tutorial. You have your nipple. My nipple to nipple measurement is 8. Okay, so we are going to, sorry, is 7. So we are going to divide it into 2, which will give us 3.5. Then you add 0.5, so it's going to give you 4. So from here to this point, you measure out your 4 inches. Okay, like I said, this my nipple to nipple is 7 inches divided by 2 plus 0.5, so it's going to give us 4 inches. So, and the length of my dart is going to be 4 inches from the waist. Okay, I'll be using 4 inches from the waist. So that is to say, I need to get a straight line here so that we carve out our darts. Let's do that. So when you do the straight line, you are going to measure, okay, 1/2 inch from the left and from the side where you are going to be connecting. Okay, so at this point, this is where I have my 1/2 inch, okay, and another 1/2 inch here. Okay, so we are going to be connecting this line to this point to get our dart in full. Okay, so this is going to be our dart for the skirt. So at the end of the day, this is what we have as a front view of our skirt. Okay, this is just it. When you cut it out, you put your fabric on fold and just follow the line and cut it out. Okay, so for the back view of our skirt, this is the front view. Don't forget, front view of our skirt. Okay, now for the back view, I measured from here to here 2 inches. That is going to be for the zip allowance. Okay, this is the zipper allowance, 2 inches. Don't forget that. Okay, so from there we are going to start. We are going to take every measurement that we did here, we are going to replicate it here. The difference now is just the zip allowance. Okay, so let's go and take, we started by our skirt length. Okay, we did -2, and we got 22 for the length. Okay, and 2 inches for the sewing allowance. Okay, so we are going to do same. So you can see that I've taken all the necessary measurements. That's for the hip. This is the hip line, and this is our skirt length, and this is our allowance. Okay, so just like we did at the front, so we are going to be taking the measurements. Don't forget, at the base we took our waist measurement divided by 4. Okay, so my waist is 32 divided by 4, it gives me 8. Okay, this is 8. We are going to be adding 2 inches for seam allowance. Okay, and I'm going to be adding 1 inch for the darts. So this is what we have here. Okay, then at the hip line, I'm going to be doing my hip divided by 4. 40 divided by 4 gives me 10. Okay, this is 10. We are going to be adding 2 inches allowance. Okay, then at the base, we are also going to bring down the hip allowance, which is 10 without measurements. Okay, measure 10, that is hip divided by 4, 40 divided by 4, which gives us 10. So we are going to be connecting the lines now. So this is what I have after connecting the waist to the hip and to our skirt length. Okay, you know, we said initially, if you don't want the pencil skirt to be too pensed, you can just come out by 1 inch. Okay, you come out by 1 inch at the base, then you connect it back to the hip, but I like my own to be very pensed. So just know that if you are coming out by 1 inch at the front, okay, when you are pattern drafting, if you are coming out by 1 inch at the front, just also know that you will repeat same at the back for you to get the same effect. Okay, so this is what we have. So we are going to also replicate our darts. We are going to replicate it on the back view before we come back to the zip side. Okay, so for our zip budge, okay, we are going to be coming up from the skirt length. We are going to be coming up by 5 inches. Okay, from the skirts, okay, we are going to be coming up by 5 inches. So at this point, don't forget, we have 2 inches allowance here for the zip. Okay, so but now you see that we came up by 5. Okay, let me do same here. From the skirt length. Okay, we came up by 5 inches. Sorry, 5 inches. This is it, 5 inches, or this other way around, to be sure you're on track. Came up by 5 inches. You can see it came up by 5 inches here. So you come in from here by 1.5 inch, or you go out from here by 1/2 inch. Okay, don't forget we came up by 5 inches and we are going in by 1.5 inch or 1/2 inch. We are going out by 1/2 inch on the zip allowance. Okay, this is the back view on the zip allowance. So let's go. So we are going to measure it. Okay, this is 1.5. Okay, so it's either you do 1.5 or you do a 1/2 inch. Okay, so now we are going to connect this to the hip line, and the reason for doing this is for us to have a nice shape at the butt. Okay, we are trying to shape our butt. Let's rule out the, so you are going to be connecting the 1.5. You connect it straight to the hip line. Okay, straight to the hip line. Okay, so when you're done with that, by the time you are cutting, you are going to cut out this place. Okay, by the time you are cutting, you are going to cut it out so that this side is going to sit very well on your back side. Okay, and the zip, you're not going to be having like a zip bulge at the back of your skirt. So this is it for our pencil skirt. Okay, this is our front view of our skirt, and from here, okay, we have the zip allowance for the back, and this is the back view of our skirts. Okay, so in our next video, I'm going to be showing you how to make the band on this skirt. Why not try this out? It's something that you can do on your own. It's beginners friendly. Okay, in our next video, we are going to post on how you go about the band of the skirt. Thank you for watching to the end. Please kindly subscribe, like, share, and comment on our YouTube channel. Bye-bye.